Hello everyone, welcome to our episode of Showcase on Warframe. Today's item, the Tiberon. I think that's how it's pronounced. Anyway, the Tiberon. Well, it's a different weapon. Okay, so the basics of this weapon is take a Electron and then triple the fire burst. So yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Accuracy about 33%, critical chances is measly 5% with times 2 multiplier. Fire rate is 9.0, or rough almost 9.0. Magazine is 30 shots. Noise alarming. Reload is 2.3 and status is 2.5. Have you noticed what's wrong with this weapon yet? Yeah, it's a base build weapon only. And how good is the stats? Well, as you probably learned saw for yourself, 30 puncture, 15 slash, 15 impact. Oh dear. This weapon's already doomed for failure. So yeah. So yes, at a first glance, it already looks terrible. But wait, it gets worse. So when you go to the marketplace to go grab this, go to primary weapons, go to blueprints only, and you find it here somewhere. There it is. You go to blueprint. It takes Electron to build this. Arguably, Electron is stronger than Tiberon, and yet it requires Electron to build this. I'll let you get to the review of the Electron, just need a river mod for it. Anyway, you need Electron, 20,000 credits, about 5,500 or 550 plastids, about 500 some Rubico, and then a Forma. Yeah, a whole Electron. Ugh. Anyway, visually, the Tiberon is quite distinctive. It looks similar to Electron until you get to the end of the barrel, where it has 3 barrels, not quite symmetrically lined up, and has 2 awkward leaf blades sticking out of it. I'm not sure how you would drop this onto an opponent, like to smack them over the head with it and stab them at the same time. I don't understand the thing here. Maybe it uses a tripod. Maybe, because having 3 barrels would be a bit much in terms of recoil, but this weapon doesn't really have recoil much at all. Otherwise, it's very similar to Electron in shape and design. It's just the end of the weapon is unique. And even our guard sight looks pretty distinctive. Looks crowded. Hard to use. So yeah, it's weird. Alright. So as I'll show here, that there's virtually pretty much no recoil. Pretty much. It's me pushing the trigger as fast as I can. And you see, it shoots all 3 barrels at once. So it's a triple shot. Like similar to the Burston. But yeah. So how good is the accuracy though? Well, that's the one saving grace of it. It has incredible accuracy. Very tight spread. Here it is, my ultimate build. So yeah. Okay, for stats, you can see my critical chance is unchanged. I got better fire rate at 11.8. Magazines at 54 shots. I got a bit of punch through at 1.2, and the reload's the same. Riv disposition's all 5 orbs filled, though it's a moot point for me. And status is 15%, just shy of 15%. Stats, I got pretty much roughly 500 puncture, 115 slash impact, 272 cold, and then 544 radiation. Why? Because there's not a whole lot else you can put on this weapon. So yeah, it's a base build weapon. These weapons are incredibly limited. They're poorly designed, or thought in terms of stats. There's very few weapons that can get away with base building. Those who can get away with it are DPS based, like the Bolter Prime. The Tiberon is not a DPS weapon. It can be sort of, but its DPS is significantly less than other weapons, like example the Bolter Prime. So yeah, I'm not sure what else to throw in this. There's some new mods coming out that may change everything, but for the time being, yeah. Ribbon mod, well, I had to roll it once, so I'm glad of it, but I got kind of what I wanted out of it. I got plus 61 magazine capacity, negative weapon recoil, which is a moot point, doesn't really matter, and plus 95% multi-shot. The Tiberon is not a great weapon in my opinion. I'm not going to roll this like a crazy son of a bitch trying to get the best stats. This is good enough. Less reloading and a bit more damage. Good enough in my book. And you're going to agree with me when you see the enemies I fight at its current level. So, for a test, we'll take 10 Grenier. Okay, in their level, we're going to take them to awesome, ultra high level of 55. Yeah, 55. I wouldn't go any higher either, not in terms of Grenier. There's the point where I can just comfortably kill them in roughly 2 bursts, providing I hit the head region. If I don't hit the head region, then I'm looking at 3 to 4 bursts. Level 55. The Latron I could probably take up to level 80-90. Latron Prime, possibly level 100. We'll see what kind of ribbon I get, but the Tiberon, 55. Yeah. Base builds, this weapon has nothing else to rely on. It needs a crutch, and there's no crutch available. It can only get so far on its own. Occasionally hit the radiation proc, but it's very inconsistent. But next, we'll go against some MOAs. I'll grab about 20 of them or so. And I'm kind of thinking the same level, level 55. Yeah. So at level 55, you can see that's generally the same result. 2 bursts. Sometimes 1 if I hit all 3 shots into a critical area. Otherwise, 2 bursts. The Tiberon will be alright in that Plains of Island, since all builds have it now. But in terms of the higher levels, in terms of Plains of Islands, this weapon would suffer. It's at great accuracy, no doubt, and that definitely, like any bullet, gets to point A to point B in an instant, but this weapon is quite undesirable in every other setting. Now against some infestation, I'll go against level 20 of them, and we're going to jack the level slightly, since they have like no armor and no protection, so I'll jack up to 65. Although I wouldn't use this against infestation alone due to a lack of DPS, you know, being able to kill one target and switch to the other one, because again, you gotta pull the trigger of every 3 bursts. It does alright. But yes, this weapon just falls short of damage. If it had a critical or status, this would change everything. It would change a lot of things. But no, this triple shot burst base build is a very shallow one at that. It's alright, but it's not good. Maybe it's a bit too harsh, but as you can see against the strongest opponent in the game, in terms of armor, it's a joke. I'm not getting through that armor. Not at all. Not even with all my ammo. See, maybe killing your bad's a bit harsh, but nonetheless, let's move on to pros and cons. On the pros, it's an incredibly accurate weapon, with an incredibly tight spread. So that's its one good saving grace. And it has a good decent amount of ammo, given what you're using here. Alright. That's pretty much it for pros. On the cons, it doesn't have any critical build or status build. It doesn't have the DPS to make a good base build. Yeah, and you must give up an arguably better weapon to make it. That is a big con in my book. Okay, going on to the score for Tiberon. Damage, I'm going to give a 5 out of 10. It's not the best damage, but there certainly is worse in the game, though you'd have to make an effort to look for it. Accuracy, the one saving grace of the gun, is 9 out of 10. It's not pinpoint, but it's incredibly tight to that point, so almost a 10. Design, 2 out of 10. It is a base build weapon without the support for a base build weapon. As I mentioned earlier, a critical or status build would make this better. It make it automatic, like a weird automatic rifle like the Buzzlock, which would significantly improve this weapon. But no. Burst fire, and this did not work out so well. Ammo, 8 out of 10, because you do have a good chunk of ammo, but using it excessively will probably net you nothing in the end. But you have to use it pretty excessively for that. But moving on, basically it's going to give it 3 out of 10. It's not the best weapon to take, and you gotta give up a Latron to get it. A Latron is only a single shot semi-automatic, but it's much more powerful, up to 8 times more powerful at the end of the road. So yeah. So, at the end of it, the Tiberon gets 27 out of 50. It's good. Oh, I call this just a pass. Barely a pass. When it comes to the Tiberon for judgment, despite I have a couple things going for it, I'm going to say it's not worth it. I have a negative opinion on the weapon mainly because the cost to build it is greater than the result you get. That's my biggest point for judgment here, is that alone. Of course there's other reasons, but that alone, first and foremost, is a reason not to. But regardless, that has been Showcase for today. I'd like to thank you all for watching. Hope to see you guys next time. Take care out there.